guys, how are you? Welcome to the Revenue Challenge. We have a whole, another 5-6 days to be able to run on this Revenue Challenge. And this week, we're going to focus so much on sales and conversions. In fact, today, we want to really shift gears with you and I love you. Please don't do that. So this is my husband. We're having a husband-wife moment.
I'm trying to see everybody.
I know, but I can't. It messes me up. So,
Gotcha.
You know, I feel like we're in a comedy show half the time together.
Sometime.
Okay, so we're gonna focus on cash, and we're gonna focus on generating cash and sales. So my husband is incredibly good at enrollment and at sales. Who are my analyzers in the audience? Go in the chat and put an A. Who are my analyzers? Go in the chat and put an A. Seeing a bunch of A's. Wow, there's a lot of analyzers.
That's right.
Okay, so here's the thing. My husband is an analyzer, and when we got together, actually before I met you, almost every analyzer in my life drove me totally crazy. I mean, because I am more of a promoter type person. I get excited about things. I wake up in the morning, I'm like, good morning, or I say goodbye. I sing my goodbyes like I'm like goodbye. And so saying that, people who are analytical, who ask a lot of questions, used to drive me nuts. And I thought, oh my gosh, can you just make a decision and move? But what I've realized from respecting you and seeing the way you operate is that it might take you a minute to figure out all the analytics and see how everything connects together, but he outsells me. And there's a power to that. You do some things really, really well that I think a lot of people need to get in their bones today. And that is when there's an objection, you actually expect it.
Yeah.
You actually expect it. And so he literally thinks it's nuts for people, when I'm in. I'm clear, I'm in, let's go. And he's just like,
are you really in?
it's like he's just literally going, oh my God, I can't believe that you can just make decisions that quickly. Or he'll say, I admire how you always know where you want to go. But that's because there's different personality types, right? And so he thinks about it. But where that works is that how many of you guys feel really, really disheartened or deflated when you're out there trying to make a difference for someone and you're making offers, and for whatever reason, there's an objection, right? Somebody's like, Carla, I love you. I had such a great time with you, but you know what? It's just really not the time. Okay, how about this? I have to pray on it. I have to pray on it. Now, guys, I am totally into scripture. I'm totally into God, but I'm going to tell you, as a godly driven woman, you've been praying on the offer that came in front of you a long time ago. Maybe you have an offer on the table right now, and somebody's making you an offer, and they're like, go do this, or come, your best friend's like, come do a workshop with me. And you're like, wait, stop, hold the brakes. You're called a controller. And you think it's like waiting for God to tell you to make a jump. But you guys know what I'm saying. I'm joking with the God thing. It could be just a hesitation to stop. While you're hesitating, the offer goes away, right? And so that's a controller. Controllers hate to be told what to do. They can't stand it. It drives them nuts. They hate to be told what to do. They don't like it if it's not their idea, and they do not want to be closed, right? They want to be edified, and it needs to logically make sense. An analyzer needs more information, and he thinks you're nuts for jumping into something without thinking about it, right? And then supporters, you guys, it's like you have been battling for so long, supporting everybody else, that it's like it's time for you to put yourself in the front running to actually take something you want. My point is that you and I, all of you and I, we are all serving the same world in our niches, right? In our niches. And so that being said, you have to know that you're dealing with these different quadrants. So we want to get into sales today. We want to get into helping you actually generate money today. And I want to acknowledge anybody new in the challenge today. Anybody who's brand new in the challenge, I'd love you to go into the comment section and say, me for I'm new, me, M-E, I'm new, and let us know that you're new to the challenge so that we can see you. That would be great. Just put me. Awesome. Welcome to the revenue challenge. We're going to have a great week. You can actually see some of the recordings from last week. There was an invitation to come work with us last week. That invitation is closed, but the content and the training is really great. You guys who have been part of the revenue challenge, I would love you to go in the chat and share what's it meant to you. What has the revenue challenge meant to you? What is the difference it's made for you over last week? Because we ran all last week. And if you guys are in VIP and you don't have your video on, I'd really appreciate it if you put your video on, please. It really makes a big difference. Okay, so we're gonna jump into sales now.
Let's do it.
Okay, so go in the chat, let us know what is your biggest challenge with sales. What is your biggest challenge with sales right now? Go in the chat and let us know. What's your biggest challenge with closing, clarity, closing,
Leads,
selling, clarity, volume. Okay.
Scared.
Okay, so I want to warn you, we are actually going to challenge you today. This is a challenge. We are going to challenge you today, and somebody's going to win $1,000 because you actually just took action and did what I asked you to do. We're going to challenge you to actually produce income today. Who's excited about that? Who's excited about that? Miguel, are you excited about that? You ready to make some money, my friend? Okay, good. Okay.
They're scared yet excited.
So write this down. Connect, engage, serve, make an offer. Okay, connect, engage, serve, make an offer. Can you see that? Doesn't look like you guys can see that. Guys, yeah. Let me connect, engage, serve, make an offer. Okay, so you can't, to even help somebody, you have to connect. Now, the reason why this is so important is because have you ever been in front of somebody and they're pitching their stuff? It's almost like they haven't even stopped to connect with you. They're so driven that they're gonna try and sell you something, right? It's like there's no connection there. If you have no connection, you have no authority. Okay, there's no authority. So first thing is connect. Engage is where you start to build a relationship. So when we're teaching people how to do list building and how to get experts to actually mail for them, we create something called a generator email or a generator post. And it's basically how to reach out to professionals, influencers, authors, and have that reach out
authority figures.
Reach out to them so that they actually come forward and say, you know, Debbie, I'd love to work with you. And if this isn't done right, it feels like the person coming in your Instagram DMs telling you, oh, you don't have enough engagement, you should hire me. Or, oh, you know what I mean? You guys have all had it, right? Like the people are pitching you on social media inboxes. You should get verified. You should get this, right? They haven't connected, right? A really good salesperson or a really good leader knows you need to connect first. The worst thing is most people what they want to do is they want to just go straight into making offers and they missed a connection. So we want to talk about how to do that. Service is really important. This is how you also build authority and strengthen the relationship. Okay, so say the person going in my inbox on Instagram that wants to help me grow my Instagram account. They should first reach out to me and they should share how much they love my content. They should be posting on my stuff. They should be building a connection, right? They should spend a couple days actually connecting with me, right? I watched a video of yours. It was super awesome. This is what I shared. They should share my content. Do you know what I mean? Because you see all that. Like you see who's sharing. You notice who's going, I call it an evangelist leader, someone who's actually sharing your stuff. Okay, those are people that you notice. You actually want to hang out with those people, right? And so you have to do this. If you want customers or clients, you have to do this. This is a great way to do it. That builds the relationship. Then you need to serve them, which means, what did you learn about somebody here? We call it open door. Somebody opens a door. If I'm talking to you, Miguel, and I reach out to you on anything, like here on Zoom, he's in VIP right now, or on Instagram or Facebook, and I reach out and I'm like, hey, I just want to let you know I love that post you did. This is how it impacted me. And then I comment, I share. Now he's gonna engage back with me. And when he engages back with me, we start to build a relationship. We start to go back and forth. Now we got a connection at that point, right? And he's going to say something that is going to trigger me that I can help him. And so this is where worthiness really kills our ability to make money. Because if we're really focused on ourselves so much, we'll be in a self-worth conversation. If you're just looking for the door to open, Miguel's going to say something when I'm reaching out to him that I'm going to go, oh, I can help him that. I might know a book. I might know a friend. I might have an event. I might whatever. There's something, any way that I can help. Make an introduction to someone. I serve him. Once I serve him, another door will open. That door will allow me to make an offer. This whole thing needs to happen in every single relationship to make money. In every single relationship to make money. So what were you gonna say? Okay, so what I want to kind of open up with you guys today is that there's a process in leadership that actually equates to leading somebody in a way that you can serve them. Notice that the offer is the last step, right? The offer, like I'm not leading with the offer. I'm leading with getting to know people first. And what happens is you and the people like you around me and the people that you're around, they're going to open up doors for you to be able to help them, right? They're going to actually open up doors for you to be able to help them. So I want you to share and start talking into what is your approach in sales to start building a pipeline, right? Like pipeline days. Take a picture. Everybody write this down because they're going to flip the chart. Connect, engage, serve, make an offer.
It's in the chat. By the way.
Yeah, I know, but that's just to do it. Okay, so Ash will train our team and he'll train them how to build a pipeline day. And I'm going to leave you to get into this. But as you're building a pipeline day,
You're leaving.
well, I'm not leaving you. As you're learning how to build a pipeline day, Debbie's laughing at you. As you learn how to build a pipeline day, I want to let you know that it's only a couple days, and our sales team, which is just the people who are holding the role of enrollment now at this point, they can't keep up with the business of inflow. Okay, so there's when you're out there generating it, and then there's pipeline, which you're generating it, but doesn't require necessarily any like quote unquote like marketing campaign, right? And so I want you to kind of dive into that. If you were talking to our sales team, how would you start leading that?
Yeah, I think there's okay. So there's really three phases for any, I think, entrepreneur, business, salesperson. Those three phases, exactly what you're saying. Number one is the first phase is I'm not getting enough leads. I'm not getting enough traffic. I'm not getting enough people to work with. So that's the first phase. A lot of businesses, entrepreneurs, salespeople face that is this area where there isn't enough traffic coming in. I don't know what I need to do, where fear is there and doubt. Yeah.
Who's in that position
say me
right
if
now?
you're in that position.
You don't have enough leads.
Yeah, you don't have enough leads.
Just go me if you don't have enough leads.
Great. Yeah. So you're first phasers. So some of you are saying me, you're the first phasers. These are people that you haven't had the activity to have the conversations on a regular basis. So then there's a second phase. The second phase is that traffic is coming in. You have a lot of people coming to you. You have enough people coming to you where you can serve them, but something in the conversation is broken down where there is no conversion. There's enough business occurring. And so you're losing track of all the people that even want to work with you. So that's the second phase, where you're losing track. You're not in tracking. Then there's the third phasers. The third phasers are they've generated revenue, they're in a comfort zone, and they find themselves going into this roller coaster. So what happens is they know what to do and how to get back on track. They get the business moving, the traffic starts coming in, they're able to keep track of those people, they start enrolling them, then they get comfortable and then traffic goes away because the activity is not there anymore. The activity that brings the beginning is not there anymore. So just ask yourself, which phase are you in? And each of those phases can be solved if you are just connected to your revenue generating activities on a regular basis and you're establishing the leadership to convert.
So are you in phase one, phase two, or phase three?
Yeah, put down if you're
phase one is you need leads. Phase two is you've got leads, but you're starting to lose track of people. Like I would really call this more like follow-up. Like you really got to develop your follow-up strategy. You're losing track of people. And phase three is you're kind of in a bit of a comfort rut and things are starting to go backwards, right? It's like you get you get in that comfort rut and things start to move backwards. Awesome.
A lot of phase ones. Okay.
Yeah. And twos.
And some twos, yeah. So ultimately, all of this comes down to your leadership. No matter which phase you're in, it's your leadership. Because if you're saying, I don't have the leads or I'm not getting the business opportunities in front of me, well, business opportunities are already there. In fact, today is much easier to generate business opportunities than ever in history. Right now, today, it's easier to generate opportunities than ever in history. Think about that. Why? Because Google's done the work for you.
For sure. So how do we build a pipeline, Bill?
How do you build a pipeline? Well, number one, you need to take your days of the week and divide it up just like this. You need to just take your days of the week and actually dedicate at least 2 to 3 days to new business activities, especially if you're in phase one. You may want to make that even 4 days in phase one. Why? Because you want to generate at least 40, 50 hot opportunities that are on one sheet. You don't need like 2,000 sheets like I was coaching the person earlier. If you haven't established your business, you don't need like 20,000 contacts. You need 40 hot opportunities, 40 warm opportunities, not even hot, warm opportunities. And that 40 opportunities, super easy to create right now. You go on Facebook, you go into groups, you can go on Reddit, you could go to Google.
But if you were talking to our team right now and you told them to do this, what would you tell them to do?
I would tell them first thing Monday, that's what you're doing. You're spending at least 6 hours a day building these 40 lists. I would spend, if you haven't created that today, you got to do it again Tuesday. You got to do it again Wednesday. You got to do it again Thursday. You got to do it again Friday. Now, when you have the 40, devote 1 day just to follow up with them. Devote one half of like Tuesday to follow up with them. Devote half of Thursday to follow up with them. So you follow up with the 40. So you have that 40 or 20 hot list, and you're following up every Tuesday, every Thursday, every Tuesday, every Thursday, and still continuing to activity to build in new leads. So for example, if I was like telling our sales team we had no leads tomorrow,
yeah,
I would say, sales team, here's what we're going to do. Everyone's going to get on Clubhouse. Mm-hmm. Everyone's going to get on Clubhouse. And so your Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I want you to be in Clubhouse. And all you're doing on Clubhouse is you are jumping in, raising your hand. You're not listening. You're raising your hand immediately when you get into a room. And your intention is to get on stage, create value, and have someone follow up with you.
Okay, so remember, connect, engage, service, make an offer now. If you're an Android, obviously, I don't think you can get on yet. Are they
but
on?
If they were, no, they can't.
Okay, so
well, they're starting to onboard.
They're starting to onboard. So connect, engage, serve, make an offer. If I'm raising my hand in Clubhouse, you can't sit there and just watch in Clubhouse. You're just wasting your days. Do you know what I mean? Like, not that there's not great content, there is, but you want to take action. The power of like something like a revenue challenge is I'm giving you homework. And if you do the homework, you're going to have an experience with the training. And now you gain wisdom. If you sit and watch and you don't do the homework, it's like, the prizes don't motivate me. That used to be my thing, because somebody's going to win $1,000 prize, right? We're going to choose somebody to give $1,000 prize. I used to be the girl that literally used to say, talk about an ego trip. I'm so thankful to you, God, for working in my heart, because I was the type of person who literally was like, I knew I wouldn't win it anyway, so I didn't try. Or I'm not motivated by money. Such dumb stuff that we say to ourselves when really it's our excuse not to engage, right? And everything you're teaching is about engaging. It's about engaging. But connect, engage, serve, make an offer.
Absolutely.
If you've got a room, the Growth Network, you guys do it all the time. What's the URL for that?
jointgn.com or thegrowthnetwork.com.
Okay, thegrowthnetwork.com. Go to it. You can become a speaker or you can become an attendee. They'll tell you when the rooms are going on. So powerful. If he's leading a room or you see him in the top tier in the Growth Network, it's his company with a couple of his friends, then literally you could go to his Instagram and say, hey, I was on the revenue challenge. Can you bring me up? Do you know what I mean? And then when he brings you up, Vita, Savannah, Miguel, David, don't be like, I'll do it for me. Hi, I'm Shanda Sumter. I run a business coaching company. Don't do that shit, right? Like, don't do that shit. You want to go in with like connection, like, hey, Ash, what I just heard you guys talking about, boom, right? I've got a question for you, but you want to put a little snippet, just a little snippet, like, I loved what you just talked about, because we help. Here's another thought. right? Here's another thought with that, and add some value to it. So now you've become a speaker.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? And if you can't become a speaker on the topic, so you guys get that? So it's like, Ash, I love what you're just talking about. Here's another thought. Get into it. It's like a less than 2-minute answer. People who keep going, you lose people and you piss off the owner of the clubhouse room. Okay, so that's one thing. They back chat. And when they back chat, they're like, this person is going on forever. Don't let them back up. Okay, so just know that. Now, if you can't add contribution to a clubhouse room, then you turn around and you're going to ask a question. So if I was going to ask a question, I'd say, so Ash, so that you know, I help entrepreneurs build client bases online, right? So my question is, boom. Do you see how it was a quick little sentence to give them context? But I also just let everybody in the room know that if there's I help entrepreneurs get a wait list, or I help entrepreneurs get a wait list for their products and programs through showing them how to get customers and clients. So my question is, right? And so now those people will go to my bio on Clubhouse, and in your bio, you want to write something. This isn't a Clubhouse training, but it just shows you this is part of a pipeline build. If I needed to get customers or clients, you could leverage already leads that are actually happening on Clubhouse. In my bio, I would put in the first line something for free. Right, currently it says DM me the word freedom, I think, for something, right? And so, or DM me the word VA if you need a virtual assistant, right? So I'm not even giving something for free away on that. Got it? Okay, keep going.
And the second thing is, I would say, so I wouldn't just be on Clubhouse, by the way. I would have them be on Facebook groups. So specifically on a topic that we can support and serve in, be in Facebook groups, start connecting, engaging, giving value, and connecting with that community. And I wouldn't do it in a way that violates the club's guidelines or the group's guidelines. I would be within that and just generating value for that community and sticking with that. And what you'll find is that's how you will not only, generate those people that you get to engage with, but you'll actually generate the perfect candidate you get to engage with. So I would spend a lot of upfront time, especially if you don't have an audience, spending that time just generating the opportunities. Once you get to 40 or so, and these are warm opportunities, now it's your job to create value for those 40. So how do you follow up with the 40?
Hold on, before you do that real quick. This is really important. I did this with our team not too long ago. I shut off all leads, and obviously we generate a lot of leads at Heartcore. And I said, all right, guys, I was like, we're not going to do any more leads. And I'm like, we want you to pipeline build. And honestly, he's the best at training it. If you will just not allow confusion to get in the way, and if you just take the action, you will gain clarity. Okay. So one of the things we said to our team is, how many people have you spoken to in the last 90 days? Now you might take the last year. I don't know if you've kept a scrappy book on people you've spoken to or anything like that, but Debbie's like, no. Okay, so get it, girl. I mean, I'm probably pretty bad at stuff like that too, but I actually do put people up on a wall when I used to do enrollments, when that was part of my job as a business owner. I would put people up on a wall-size post-it like that, and I'd put like Miguel, Debbie, Amanda, Savannah, Vida, Joanna. I'd put your names up, and I would write little things that I knew about you on it. And I would have that wall-size post-it up on the wall, because if it's in a notebook or something, you lose it. But is there any way that you could pull up a list of people that maybe have said no to you in the past, right? Or people that weren't ready, or whatever that looks like? Because we generated literally 60% of, I think it was 60 or 58% of our enrollments ended up coming from my team just not being sloppy.
That's right.
Okay, take that in as an entrepreneur, right? Like a lot of times the reason why we're not generating income, who's got a little sloppiness in them? I know we did, right? Like anybody got a little sloppiness in you? Yes, me, yes. Okay, so
and you know what? It's understandable, because the front end is sexy.
It is.
It's sexy.
Doing challenges,
doing webinars,
and
summits, and going to events, and going on the Clubhouse and talking. That's sexy.
Yeah.
It's not sexy to do the follow-up work. It's not sexy to really do the service. It's not sexy to do the hard work. it's just the same thing as like when I hear people say, I want to get married. So they like to go do the front work and date a lot of people, but they don't really want to do the work.
You're a guy, so I think guys do. Girls, some of us don't like that
I
as
know,
much.
I know, but I also hear a lot of women that want to get married, yet they're single.
Yeah.
So why? And I think it is this.
Yeah.
It's
So
like not willingness to go that extra distance.
It is not willingness to go, and we don't go that extra distance because there's something in us that doesn't think if we put in the effort, if we put in the effort, it will actually manifest cash.
And that's
right?
exactly it.
Yeah.
Just the same reason why I think a lot of people end up single is they don't think they're good enough to actually create that relationship.
Yeah. Side note, my husband asked me, we met on Tinder. We met on Tinder 7.5 years ago. And he literally, before he met me, interviewed me and wanted to know if I was in debt, what I thought about God. He asked me a series, and he was the only man who actually asked all those questions. I was like, huh.
It's an enrollment process.
This is but it was powerful because I knew that you were a strong leader at that point. Because every man, you were looking for your wife, I was looking for my husband. I was dating 5 times a week. I started to apply what I learned in business to relationships. And you start with lead gen, like Ash said, phase 1 is your leads broken. Start with lead gen. Ladies, quick hint. Don't break a stare with men if you're single. When they catch your eyes, just smile. And it's really awkward. Just keep smiling and your lead gen will be taken care of. They come like droves when you just smile. I was like, oh, it's always been that easy for leads. Well, guess what? Same with business.
Same with business.
Business is not hard with the leads either once you figure it out.
Yeah, and your eye contact, exactly that, is being in the right spaces. It's being.
I didn't have to get eye contact with you though. I got Tinder.
No, we got to swipe left, swipe right. But you happen to swipe right. So Tinder is an app. You swipe right if you're interested. Swipe left if you're not interested. For those of you that have never been on the platform, anyways. But we'll put that aside. But it's about being in the right spaces. And number 1 is revenue generating activity. And here's what I say: if you have no leads, 100 contacts a day.
Okay, write that down.
100 contacts a day.
So I will say, focus on activity. Even when you guys, who's in my list building program that ended up jumping in last week? Go in the chat and say, I am. Go in the chat and say, I am, if you're in our list building program. We're going to teach you a generator email. I'm going to have you reach out to 30 people a day. You're going to do it before 9 o'clock in the morning. You're going to have the whole rest of your day to either go to your job or literally have a good life, right? And if you just trust me, you can just focus on that one thing. Mine will be 30 for influencers, authors, and you're going to find in 2.5 weeks, you will have over 30 people that will be wanting to work with you and promote you. Talk about a game changer this is going to be.
So you're ready for this? So target 100 contacts a day. So what is a contact? It's a connection point. So it's the eye contact. It's the eye contact, actually. It's a great way to position it. So it's the eye contact. So meaning you're on Facebook and you're committed to 100 messages that are connected conversation or connected contacts. Now, out of these 100 contacts, you will generate
develop scripts on this.
You will generate 20 connections. So you should set a target that I want to create 20. This is working 8 hours, by the way. You got to be working 8 hours if you're going to have a business. So you want to have 20 connections. So what does connection mean? That means you found the relevance and you created a custom message to that person that you can serve. And it's just serving. So 20 connections. You take those 20 connections. I would track those people. I would track those 20 connections. Because out of those 20 connections, one of them will be your 40. One of them will be a warm or a hot lead for you.
Out of the 20?
Out of the 20 connections.
He knows his numbers really well.
20 connections. So if you could create 20 connections a day, you should have 3 solid booked appointments the following week.
Okay, so you just told me one. 100 connections a day. 20 will end up being viable, like real connections.
That's right.
And then 1 hot lead.
1 hot lead. But if you do this 3 days out of your 5 days, now you have 3 solid appointments. You do this 4 days, you have 4 solid appointments. You do this all 5 days, you will have 5 solid appointments. Now, guess what? All of you that said lead, you will not have lead as your number 1 challenge. You know what you will have your number 1 challenge as? Following up.
But let's ground this first, guys. This is so everybody ask yourself the question, if you were to do this, which I would recommend you do it, right? If you were to do this, So much, like how many people it's like, you need to make money, but you're spending time doing a podcast. I use podcasts a lot because it doesn't generate a lot of money right away. Right. So right. So I'm really big on grounding this, right? Because if you think about this, if you changed your job description and your job description right now, for maybe the next 60 days, you're going to really focus like this. And 3 days a week, you're going to commit to 100 contacts, right? 100 connections a day. 20 of them you're banking on to be good. And then one of them ends up being a hot lead. You do three times a week. You end up with 3 solid appointments, right? Now you might say, that doesn't sound like a lot.
That's a lot.
But what happens is this compounds.
That's right.
And usually what happens in our company, within actually a couple days, they will have more inbounds coming than our team can handle. So if I add marketing on top of their good follow-up campaigns, we get in trouble because we hit a leadership barrier. Right. Where the team doesn't know how to manage what's coming in and the people that are inbounding back to them that want to talk to us about working with us.
Yeah, what will actually happen is they'll feel unserved. People will feel underserved because they'll be too busy now.
But this is a good problem to have.
And it's
right?
a great problem. It's what you want to create. But a lot of people, it's not sexy. That's the thing. And you got to get really connected that this is not sexy. Building a business, it becomes sexy when you make it. And a lot of people are trying to become sexy before they make it.
That's so good. Okay, so now talk about follow-up.
Okay, so yeah, so if you have 3 days, which is why I always say 3 appointments, because I look at 2 days of those, 2 of those days is where you're having those appointments. You're having those conversations. You're having those connected relationships. And a lot of people expect the yes right after the first conversation. So, hey, by the way, you want to buy a brand new car? Let me give you a brand new car right now. And if you want to buy a brand new car, it happens when you're ready. And there's a process in where people get ready. Their analyzers take longer. Promoters jump right in, but then you got to do the work to keep them engaged.
Yeah, because they never follow through. They never complete what they start.
So there is going to be follow-up, whether someone is a yes to you right now or whether they're going to be yes to you in 3 to 7 weeks. Now, the question is, who are you going to be in that process for them? And you really got to get connected to who you get to be in that whole process, the full journey. And what I mean by that is when you're connected in a relationship, you have those 20 hot appointments, hot leads. Out of those 20 appointments, the more effective you are in those follow-up conversations, the more likely you're going to earn their business. And by the way, your conversion rates can become 100% if you're effective in the follow-up, because the number one thing you've identified is that there is a need, a want, and a desire. So there will be a choice and a decision at some point if it's up to you to create that choice. So how do you keep that?
How do we become effective?
You got to have a strategy. Number 1. Number 2, you've got to follow up with relevant information, not just any follow-up. It's got to be relevant to the person you talk to.
Teach us.
Oh my gosh, honey. You're putting me in this.
Yes, teach us. I mean, how are they going to do it if we don't teach it? If you were teaching our sales team right now, how would you teach them about being effective?
So number 1, I would
say.
You
can use our products. I mean, you could use our products.
You could write, Okay, so you can write.
Okay.
So, because my typing it will be a blank sheet or it will be a scribble.
That's okay.
So, so number 1, I would say is you got to take effective notes when you're connecting with someone on the conversation. So you got to follow your steps.
Okay, so say we have an entrepreneur. You guys are all entrepreneurs. Can we use our products as an example? Okay, so say we've got an entrepreneur who is like, I want to grow a business right now, and I'm in a situation where like I've talked to somebody, I'm not ready. You know how do I start following?
So number 1.
So assuming that you guys have already connected with someone, right? You've connected with them. How do you actually stay in what we call the tension, right? And the tension is holding the relationship between you and the other person so that somebody actually can go through their process, right? And making a decision in buying the car.
So number 1, I would never get off a call before you have a commitment. That's number 1. I think that the follow-up strategy starts before the follow-up actually. So it starts in the enrollment conversation. So as you're enrolling someone, you get to the conversation, you're anticipating. So I got to go through the full sales cycle in my mind. So you've uncovered what they've done. You've created a relationship. You've uncovered where they want to be. You've uncovered what's stopping them. You have uncovered you've made a plan, you've created a plan, you have a connected plan in place for them, meaning you know what the next year can look like with them. You're clear about where they're going and their strategy. They have agreed to the strategy that it would be beneficial to them.
Okay, let me break this down so everybody hears this because they might not be.
They're connected to the empathy
Yeah,
model.
so you've had a conversation with someone and you effectively know what they want. Write this down, what they want. Okay, because you can't help anybody if you don't know what they want. And you've identified what's stopping them or getting in the way of them creating that result. Okay, that's what Ash means. You have now laid out, you have to lay out, people buy on emotions. That means you have to lay out a next level plan for them. Okay, like this is where you're going. So that's what he means by you've laid out an effective plan, right? So it's like you've laid out an effective future for them that they can see and they're clear that they want that, right?
And there's an agreement. There's an agreement.
Okay, so, and what's the agreement?
So the agreement is this plan can work for them in what they've expressed as a vision. Your clients express the vision. So it's no different than if you go to a doctor and they give you, they give you a prognosis of what it's going to look like and what health will look like for you.
Okay, so in other words, you know what's stopping them, you know what they want, and you've laid out a plan that they're excited about and they're in alignment with. Okay, now you've done all that.
You've done it. Now, in that conversation, typically, and by the way, I will say always, there is a resistance. Whether they enroll or do not enroll, there is a resistance, internal resistance.
It's like Star Wars.
You must know what that resistance is because it is different for everyone. You could think it's the same for everyone, and it is not. It's typically different for everyone. For some people, that
based on where they're at in their life.
Exactly.
Right, it's emotional.
It is emotion because that's the energy component. So it's either emotional, which is the energy component. It's either money or it's time. It's typically three different resistance. There are many variations, but those are the top three resistance. You must understand what is the resistance. And you've got to generate a commitment on that call based on those three resistance. Whatever shows up, you've got to generate a level of commitment and it's got to be mutual, meaning it is one for me as the person who's committed to serving and one for the other party. So once you have the resistance, you create a commitment from that resistance where there is energy and effort from energy, money, and time invested from their perspective, invested from your perspective. So you know what the next conversation is. This should be also aligned with the effective plan, meaning it is a step in the plan that shows what you're capable of creating for them. So it builds trust. It continues down the trust path.
Are you guys hearing this? Are you letting this land? So like Felicia, if you and I were talking on a call or we were talking through email, whatever, it's like you're fired up that yes, that's what I want. Okay, so when you get that with someone, you're going to maybe feel fearful or you're going to feel a little self-doubt or things are going to, I don't know how the how-to is going to come up, right? But you're like, I'm doing it. That's where you need somebody to be. Okay, yeah. I'm going to go figure out the how. Keep going.
Yeah, exactly. So you generate the commitment. Once you have the commitment, the next step is the first step I would take is I would follow up with something relevant to the commitment. And the only person that's going to know that's why it sounds so generic is really you. It's going to be customized around that dialogue. It's going to be customized around what your offering is. But don't take it off of some other place because if you have the commitment, there is an alignment in your follow-up strategy. It's not, how are you doing, by the way? Have you thought about the offer? Have you looked at how you could create da-da-da-da? No, it needs to be aligned with this. So let me give you an example. I get off the phone with someone and says, you know what? I definitely do need to have, let's say, a list. I definitely see the need to have a list. The biggest challenge I'm facing right now is my finances. I'm not sure, if I can make it happen. My question would be like, here's what I hear that often. Empathize. I hear that often. It's so normal for an entrepreneur to be in a stage where they're facing cash flow. Now, here's my question for you. Do you believe this is going to take you to where you want to go with your business? Because typically when I hear that, it's a value conversation. You haven't seen the value. So it's my job to show you the value of that. What do you need to hear from me so you see value?
Okay, so what Ash is telling you, when people have a money issue, it's actually always value. So write that down because you need to know where to go. So we're kind of hacking the leadership game with you right now so that you just know. Instead of going, oh, well, she's a single mom. Yeah, I was losing 3 of my homes when I made a decision to invest $21,000 with a mentor, right? I didn't have the money. I had foreclosure signs on my homes, like, and I probably should never have been driving a convertible BMW, but you always find the money for the things that you want. You just do, right? Everybody has a rock bottom, right? Like a woman messaged me, she's on this challenge actually, and said she's loving the challenge, and she was here last week, and she said she has a head injury, and so money isn't easy. She keeps hearing me say money is easy to make, and she's like, it's actually not for me. And I'm like, as long as you keep thinking that, you're good, because on last Monday when we started the challenge, I said write out 50 ways to find the money.
Yeah, and I'm gonna connect to
there's
that
a
right
million
now.
ways to create the money. I've had people do our stuff with cancer doing chemo, you know.
So just track back to what I was just sharing in this conversation, is that they're saying they didn't see the value. Now I'm going to take the hardest case, meaning they are not seeing the value at all, yet I see a possibility for the value.
We only have like 10,
I know, I'm going to walk you through. So if they haven't seen the value, I'm going to say, okay, great. My commitment is to show you value. What do you need to see so you see the value in list building? And here's my request from you. While I'm looking for this, I want you to look at the ways you can generate the cash. So now we have a mutual agreement, a commitment. The very next thing I'm going to do when I get off that call, I'm going to show the value of list building with a very specific case that's related to her. So it could be a client success story.
It could be, but here's what I'm going to say. Instead of use the word follow-up, guys, even though it is follow-up, like to give you an idea, if I'm leading a big event and I make an offer, most of the enrollments come in the repitch, and the follow-up is really like your repitch, right? And so the initial offer typically is all about your leadership, and the repitch is all about theirs. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because if you make an initial offer, it's all about how strong and certain and clear are you when you make that offer. And there's a group of people who are already ready, and they've already been through their torment, and they're like, I can't do this anymore. I'm getting whatever it is that you're offering. It's like they've been primed, right? They're clear. Those are the clear people who jump in on the first offer. Everybody in a repitch, how many of you guys, when somebody makes you an offer, you have to think about it? Go in the chat and say yes. Say yes if you're someone who has to think about it. Okay, so this is always a lot of people. And so the majority of people actually buy on the repitch. So follow-up is really the repitch. Another word that we use internally is connection campaign.
Yeah.
And so we might do the follow-up a little different, but we're doing the same steps. From a female's perspective, I might send you a success story. Like if Denise comes up here and shares something, I might clip that out of a Zoom and send it to someone, or see a post but I have thousands of clients, right? If you don't have that, you can't use that. So it might be a motivational video that I find online.
It could be a number of things.
Yeah, it could be, but I'm connecting back by saying, I know that you're fearful financially, but maybe it's time for you to believe in yourself.
Yeah, it's
so relevant. I want you. So it's like
it's relevant. It's connected. It's
exactly.
in relationship. So really, this is about being in relationship. So if you're in doubt of like, what do I need to send? Say, what would create a relationship?
That's right. Remember, connect, engage. Remember, the engagement creates the relationship. Connect, right? Connect on what the commitment is.
Connect on what they need. And then number 3, I'd go right back into, let's get back to the conversation.
So I call that a door opener. Yeah, I always say, I never have, and neither do you or anybody. If you do this follow-up or connection campaign, this could be 2 or 3 emails, text messages, whatever, Facebook inbox messages, where you're just loving on someone, they will open the door. I guarantee you, if I'm in relationship with any of you guys on Instagram, if you ask me questions, I mean, if I want to enroll you, I can enroll you, because you will open a door. And when you open that door, I'm going to step into it. Right? I'm going to step into that. And so should you with other people, because we are begging for someone to love us enough that they care enough to actually be in relationship with us, to find out where our gaps are so we can help pull them forward. So if you're selling weight loss, right? You're actually selling longevity.
Yeah.
right? You're selling vitality. You're selling life. Now it goes, who's your ideal customer? Is it someone like us that had babies older, right? We're like, our big thing is, how do we stay alive longer?
Yeah.
Right? So this is why getting niched out is really powerful, because now if that person was selling, let's call it weight loss, they might sell to us weight loss, but they're speaking to us something like, live longer for your kids. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Everybody's so afraid to niche out.
Well, you're more different than you realize in terms of business. The more differentiation you create in your business, the more likely you are to create value.
Which comes back to the empathy model.
And when you have more value, you can actually ask for more value. So
when the door opens, you can make an offer again.
Yeah, and here's the third step is, do not get back on the phone and say, where are you at, or how are you doing, or tell you want to have a plan for that follow-up conversation, so it's not a repeat of the first conversation. So great sales organizations have a methodology in their first conversation. Incredible, exceptional sales organizations, they have a secondary dialogue. They know what the follow-up conversation is going to sound like as well.
So you're talking about a through line.
Yes.
I don't want to open this up too much, but say I was going to make an offer right now, which I'm not, but say I was going to make an offer right now. How many of you guys would love to be trained by our sales team on how to sell? Go in the chat and say me. Just go in the chat and say me. Okay. So now stay in that energy for a second. Imagine if I made that offer, and then tell me, what if Ash, I'm just making this up, I'm thinking about a through line, even what we were teaching. This is about, remember how he said the follow-up is about relevant, connected to the relevancy of connecting, right? So it's like, if I said, Ash, would you train these people how to do a script and how to pop their stuff into the front end of a sales script? How many of you guys would be like, oh my God, that would be epic if we trained you how to do a sales script? I'm not making this offer, somebody's like, do it. But do you see how connected this is? Yeah, right? If I literally wanted to make an offer today, I would say, hey, you guys, if you guys want to be trained by our sales team, we do have a program like that called the club. But if we did that, I could say, if you made a decision to jump in today,
get a private
Ash or Ash will do a workshop around our scripts, and we'll lay out our scripts, and we'll teach you how to develop your script. So every single conversation is led the right way. Wouldn't that be powerful? Right? So this is do you see how leadership and sales are the same.
It's the same thing.
It's the same. You have to lead it and look for the through line of how I can keep. That's how you create bonuses. That's how you create, it's just loving people well.
Well, it's true. It's about relationship.
It is.
Leadership's about relationship. And guess what? If you do sales, it's about you. But if you're enrolling, it's about relationship. You're really creating a relationship.
So good. Okay, so let's wrap this up so people really understand.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, so remember, connect, engage, serve, make an offer. Write that down. Connect, engage, serve, make an offer. That's kind of looking at your front end, right? That's looking at your front end. Ash said he wants you to do the activity of connecting with 100 people a day. So
It's a reach.
Right. No, I get it. I get it. I'm good. If you want to jump off.
Yeah, great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So as you're looking at this, 100 reach out today, right? So go in the chat right now. Who's going to do that? Who's going to do that? Who's going to do it? Okay. So I'm getting some commitments. Okay. So who's really nervous about that? Who's already all up in the how-to? If you're already up in the how-to, I want you to put a number 2. Put a number 2 in the chat if you're already up in the how-to. Okay, so I wish I had a leadership offer for you now. It closed on Sunday. That's leadership, right? So you're gonna have to have courage. Okay, so the truth is all of you guys, are we all in agreement that there's thousands of people a day online? There's thousands of people a day online, right? So don't go prospect in my Coach Yourself to Success Facebook group because you'll get booted out, right? So there's no prospecting in there. But what you can do is you can Instagram, DM people, you could message people that maybe have said no to you in the past. You can build email lists. Many of you guys have email lists. You could send out an email to your email list. opening up an opportunity to answer any questions on Zoom around a certain topic for people, like an open office hours. There's lots of things you can do to start connection, right? So like I would send an email to my email list, say, hey guys, I just want to let you know, anybody who's being challenged right now around making offers or you don't know what to offer, I'm going to do an open office Zoom call where you can come ask me questions at 10 o'clock today. Here's the link. You know what I mean? Then I would send an email an hour before with the same email, exactly same email, but new subject line, right? And then I would do one like 10 minutes before to my email list. So see how I'm so crazy about email lists? Because if I have that, it makes it really easy. I can go be a mom, go jump on my Peloton, whatever. And then I could just show up to that call. All I had to do is write a really short email to send out 3 times. You guys seeing the light at the end of the tunnel with this type of stuff for preparing your business, right? But the truth is that my sales team does not have email lists. If I cut off my email list and Ash puts them into an activity like this, which he has many times, then they find a way to generate their 100 connections a day. And it's within 2, 3, 4 days that they cannot handle both the marketing and their own generation of follow-up. Isn't that powerful? It's powerful. So the thing is you can. So now if you start tracking like on a piece of paper and you start going like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you literally start tracking on a piece of paper, what's going to happen is this is going to start holding you accountable when you're tracking and you're going to hit your mark. Okay. And so that becomes your job. You have to have faith, right? I know you might be, I don't know what to sell. I don't know. Okay. But when do you, the best time, like people say, I don't know what my signature talk is. You know, when you create your signature talk, after you get booked on the stage. If you get booked on the stage, you will move everything off your calendar to figure out that piece. So many of you guys are building on your own timelines. And I want to get you off your timelines, get you outside your emotion. And I want to almost force you to become successful. And so if you start doing this, what's going to happen is you're going to start getting calls booked. And maybe the first 3 calls, if you don't know what you're selling, maybe the first 3 calls are like research, like I'm going to make an offer if I can. And if they don't take it, I'm not attached to it. I'm just going to learn a lot at this point. But by the time I get to my 5th or 6th call, I'm going to have created something because you're going to see a pattern. But you would never have seen the pattern if you didn't do this. Got it? Maybe you've already been in business for a while and you're like, oh, this is confronting. Great. You're not going to die from it. Just keep going. Okay. So what I want you to become obsessed about is the 100 connections a day. And no matter what part of your system is broken, it will get fixed because you're starting to create the momentum of success, right? You're going to start talking to people. It's going to force you to become successful. Can we agree on that? Yes. Okay. So I am going to encourage you. I'm going to encourage you to do the homework tonight. And the homework tonight is I would love you to make offers. I don't care if it's a $19 offer, a $1,900 offer, a $200 offer, a $12,000 offer. So something I do in many of my events is I'll teach you something called the I solve model, right? How many of you guys have heard of my I solve model before? Anybody? Veronica has. Yes or no? Go in the chat, yes or no. Okay, so a lot of no's, a couple yeses, a lot of no's. Okay, so I will teach something like my I solve model, which is a 5-step selling process. And real quick, and you can take a picture of it. I solve, and I'm just going to do this really quick, and I can go back in the group and I can teach it more. But I solve is basically, I is the inspiration of why somebody wants something. Can you guys see that? Okay. I is for what do you want? S is for what's stopping them. I is what do they want? Their inspiration. If you have these 2 things, you can make an offer. Okay, the problem is you can't make an offer until you build authority. So the O is really your opinion right? It's really your opinion or option for them. It's basically your advice, your opinion, your option. It's laying out a plan for them, whatever your business is. Sometimes you guys are in fitness, you're in business, maybe you're a financial advisor, whatever that looks like. It's laying out, this is their future vision in detail. What do you like about what I just said is really when Ash was saying the agreement. Thank you. The agreement, when somebody tells you what they liked about this, they're actually telling you if they're aligned or not. Do you hear what I'm saying? That's actually where they're starting to create an agreement. The V is really your offer. This is your vision for them, which is your offer. The E is really fun. It's excellent. What credit card would you like to put this on? What credit card would you like to put this on? So take a snapshot of that real quick. And you can always re-listen to this piece like 30 times if you wanted to. You can just fast forward on the video and watch that piece like 30 times. It is that simple. Could I teach this to you for 2 hours? Yes, I do on our PACE program. But you could, that is the essence of it. And if you kept practicing that, you'll rock it. So sometimes I'll teach people how to do this, and then I'll give them at events 15 minutes to go out and sell. I put them on the spot. And I'm telling you, at the live events, the mics line up. And it's so powerful because when you see how many people, after teaching this for like, let's say 20 minutes off a stage, how many people will go and sell? You don't have to get every single piece right on here. You don't have to get every single piece right. But you know, if you weren't really good at figuring out what's stopping them or really giving them a future plan, or you missed the what did you like about what I just said, like the alignment, like even just tweaking one of these will increase your conversions because really it's a leadership model. Make sense? So I'm going to take a couple moments really quickly and then I'll tee up the homework. A couple months really quickly. Who wants to share with me out of VIP how VIP's been rocking for you? Real quick, because I can't ask the people in the Facebook group, right? Vicky, real quick. Oh, just lost you. Vicky, real quick.
Hi, Shanda. I am so excited to be here. I am, firstly, I love your VIP. I am getting...
I don't know what's going on. Okay, so perfect. Go for it. Well, both of us together.
So weird being on here. I just want to say that I love your VIP. I have been in strategic sales for 15 years, and I'm actually getting, I've had about 45, 50,000 pounds worth of coaching invested in me whilst I was in corporate, and none of that compares to what you're delivering right now.
So good.
So I'm absolutely loving this. And I do have to share this. I've actually done bits of your homework that you've just given today. So I had 3 rants with 3 prospects, which were my 3 calls that I booked in today, and I converted every single one of them. So I don't have a flipboard like what you have, but I do have down here a whiteboard.
Great.
And I had it to my side and I was slapping it, and I was like, Shanda will be proud of me. I'm slapping my board.
Just so everybody's clear, in case you're new to the challenge or you missed Saturday, that's what I was teaching on Saturday. So you applied what it is that I was teaching on Saturday, and you actually converted 3 people today by actually getting that empathy model really deep in your bones.
Yep. And just to say, the money is actually in my account right now. I checked it. They paid in full. Can I give you the seal of approval, Shanda? You are brilliant. Thank you so much.
So good. Thank you, Vicky. So much love for you. That's so great. Who else wants to share real quick? She's a hard act to follow though. Who else wants to share really quickly? Let me just switch it over. Awesome. David.
Thanks, Shanda. Money loves speed. So when I made a decision to join your program, the $2,200 program, I was like, oh God, how am I going to pay for this? So hold
on, let me preface this. Hey, everybody, just so you know, that offer is no longer on the table, right? So that closed on Sunday. So I want to make sure everybody's clear about that, but go ahead, David. So
I did a one-day sale. I did a one-day sale for my art that I actually had left over from gallery shows from a long time ago that weren't on last year. And I raised the money for half the program, and I'll raise the other half this week. And I am excited. I am looking forward to it tremendously. I can't wait to spend lots and lots of time with you, girl.
So good. And what has been the difference between VIP and general admission? Like, what do you think was the difference between being in VIP with us?
Oh, just all the coaching that you did with everybody that just jumped on stage. Oh God, I'm using Clubhouse terms. All of the difference for everyone that you did one-on-one coaching with, and just watching you take people from step A to step B to step C to step D, and watching the eyes light up in people when they were getting it, one person after another. Just for $49, it was ridiculous. I mean, you rock, girl.
Yay! David, I'm so happy that you're even with us too. Thank you for trusting us, and I'm really excited for your art gallery to just crush it digitally. Awesome, so good. Anybody else? One more person. All right, Felicia. There you're on.
Hi, how are you?
Hi. How's it going so far?
Good. So I love everything as far as being in VIP. So I was like, I've never seen anyone spend money like her. I'm like, that is boss babe all day. I was like, oh my God, she was like writing the numbers and like, no. And her husband was like, I love her husband, but she was like, wait, it's kind of like, she was like, wait, hold on, I got this. And she was spending the money, and he go $5. You go from $5 to $1,000, and you're like, wait a minute, let me get the pause. Hold on. So so I love being in VIP. I didn't think for $49 that it honestly would be as good as it is. I would honestly, I really have posted your stuff telling other people, you have got to do this for $49. It's really honestly worth, I'll honestly like $5,000, truthfully, even more than that. It's really, really good. And I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Felicia. I see you, and I'm excited for you to crush it this week.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, you guys. So that's super good. So I just wanted to share that because I think there's power to that. And if you're watching and you still want to jump into VIP, you can do that. We've got this whole week. So we got this whole week still. So if you wanted to jump into that, you can also do that. And we'll also give you the recordings from last week if you weren't in last week, so that you could re-listen to some of the strategies that we developed last week. And I think they were really good. So if you're interested in jumping into VIP, if my team, obviously don't drop it in the Zoom because they're already in VIP, but if you can let them know in the Coach Yourself to Success group and YouTube, that would be great. If you want to upgrade and be with us this week, I invite you to come and be with us. Okay, so here's the homework. So the VIP should be dropped in the chats, you guys. Here's the homework. I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you to take some action, right? Through action, we gain so much clarity. So I'm going to challenge you to literally go out there and, I hate the word prospect, but connect, right? Connect with people and see if you can, well, you'll definitely be able to make an offer if you connect with enough people. So I say this to my clients all the time. I'm like, if you don't focus on the money and you focus on the connection, like how many people you reach out to. So whether or not you're like sitting there going, okay, I connected with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like this is what my Post-it note would look like. Do you see what I'm saying? And then I would go, okay, now I just connected with another person, or I just connected with 3 more, and I would literally do it. Like my wall size Post-it is always a mess. And by the way, I use this to fill events. I do everything this manual way. I will directly tell you when I don't manually track it on my wall size Post-it, and it hangs on my back of my door. If I don't manually track it, then I don't stay connected with it. And some of you guys might be like me. The day spins by and I wonder what just happened to the day. And my main priority falls to the side. So you're in the revenue challenge because you raised your hand in your life and you said, I want to learn how to increase my revenue. I do not want to be your trainer. I want to be your coach. I don't want to be your trainer. I want to be your coach. And what I'm saying is Coach Shanda right now is to go out there and focus on the activities with no emotion. Don't worry about if it's right, not right, whatever. Just you're going to learn so much about yourself and what's breaking in your conversations. Like that's the whole point. We just want feedback. Because then you'll know, oh, I shy off when I go to make the offer, or, oh, I kind of made the offer, I really needed a bonus, right? Or, oh, I didn't really listen to the person. It took everything just to get to the end of the conversation to make the offer. But if you get into a conversation with someone, right? So you go from connecting to seeing if you can move on to a phone call. Here's a transition line. A transition line might be, maybe I'm Instagramming or Facebook messaging. I might say, Marilyn, like I might be helping her, coaching her across like Facebook Messenger, right? I'll say, Marilyn, we can keep going back and forth, or just shoot me your cell phone number. And it's amazing what I can do in like a 10-minute conversation. And then my intention when I go in will be literally to walk through this again. I'd be like, so remind me again, what is it that you really, really want? What's stopping you from getting that right now? And then I would just help her. I would just serve. When I serve, and I don't hide anything back. I mean, you guys, I'm training you stuff that I train my clients on. You know, I know you need more help. We all do. I mean, we all need support. And I know some of you guys have the leadership that you'll just apply things and crush it. Great. You know what I mean? Like, my job is not to hoard my stuff until you pay for it. You know what I mean? That's not what I think I don't think that's good leadership. I don't think a good leader hides stuff when they can help someone. There's far enough people who want my coaching and want your support as well in your businesses that are going to jump in, and they're really primed and ready to go. And there's some people who aren't. Do you know what I'm saying? And so I just stay focused on the giving, and it's never failed me yet. In fact, when I focused on making money, it was an intense mess. Many, 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 many moments of defeat. Okay. And so, but when I focus on the giving, what happens is a door opens and you can share it. Look for the door to open. So don't look for the perfection, just look for the door to open. And when the door opens, right, they share something painful, something they're struggling with, whatever, you can at that point say, I can help you. Have you heard about? Great language. Have you heard about my PACE program? Have you heard about my XYZ? Just ask them. That's a great transition line, right? So you're helping them. What do you want? What's stopping you? You know, here's your future plan that I think you should take. Be detailed. The more detailed you are in it, the better, because you need them to see it. Once they see it, you have a bond and a connection. What did you like about what I just said? Right? Or, you know, what's standing out to you that you know is going to be like a game changer for you? However you want to ask that question, you're just looking for alignment, looking for an agreement. And then it might be, well, have you heard about my PACE program? Or have you heard about, do you guys see what I'm saying? Your thing. And they say yes or no. If they say yes, if you told me you heard about my PACE program and I went through this and realized you're an ideal customer, I would ask you a genuine question. Why haven't you jumped in? I'm just curious, why haven't you jumped in? Because what's going to happen there is I'm going to go right back. They're going to bring me right back to what's stopping them. And now I can help them again. So if it was Ash, again, because he's got nothing on your objections, he just is present with the people that he's talking to. He just loves them enough to actually help them with the problem, not try and sell them. Do you see how there's a difference? There is a difference in leadership. He knows everybody has a problem that's stopping them. So he doesn't assume that somebody's just going to plop down a card. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of times a lot of people hear objections and you're like, it's something about you. And it's not. Like, last time I checked, I have problems. Any of you guys? Any of you guys have problems? Like, I don't know if you're living in the same world I am. There's some problems, right? And so he's very logical. That's why I think analyzers are great sellers, right? Because they're really logical about that. So they're going to bring you back to that. If I ask them the question, have you heard about my PACE program? I'm curious because I think you're a good fit. And they say no, right? So if they say yes, I say, I'm curious, why didn't you jump in? So they can tell me what's stopping them and we can just work through that. If they say, no, I haven't, I'm going to at that point say, okay, would you mind if I share it with you because I think you're a good fit? Now, here's the other thing. It's also, I see my numbers of people who connect with our team. And there's always a percentage of people that we do not make offers to because they're not a good fit. In leadership, I have somebody banging down my door right now to get into leadership, and it's a no. We don't think we're a good fit for this person, not because we don't like them, has nothing to do with that. We actually think it will not be a good fit for them. Right? And there's people in our PACE program where somebody might come to us and we're like, and honestly, so we know if, like, I'll be really honest, and you know this for you, this is crazy honest. If you are a massive handful, like, I mean, like a passive aggressive on us, if we know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if we notice that there's like really passive aggressive, kind of rude, you know, if you operate like that with our team anywhere, then we just don't make you an offer. Or we just say, I'm sorry, we don't think we're the best fit for you because we're not interested in being abused. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, we're like, go work that out with a therapist, but you're not going to abuse us or our team. Do you see what I'm saying? So there's certain things. If in the leadership program, if you are on mood altering medication, you have to get an approval from a doctor to go off of it. Do you see what I'm saying? And if you can't go off of it, it's not going to work because we can't have you mood altered to do the leadership program. So this is really important stuff to know because there are people like Marilyn, there's people that you just do not either don't want to work with or truly are not a good fit, right? I'm not going to sell somebody into my PACE program if they have a 12,000 person email list. I'm not going to put them in that program. Or I might put them in the program for 6 months and then move them over. And that would be in their agreement. Like, you know, so you need to, my point is you need to make offers to people that are really going to change their life because quick secret, you don't create wealth off one sale. You create wealth off renewals. That's where you create wealth. It's off the renewals. So you need to do such a good job with someone that a good percentage of them stay with you. And that's a business model. That's a real business. I want to get you out of the hustle of always grinding for the sale. But first I need to teach you, most people, how to effectively create a sales volume. Cool? Okay, so somebody's going to win $1,000. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., we're going to announce it. If you up leveled to VIP, I look forward to seeing you at 8:15 tomorrow morning. Everybody else I'll see at 9 a.m. for general admission. And tomorrow we're going to continue on with teaching digital marketing online. And with the whole week is about generating sales this whole week. So Michael Strasser is going to come train this week. We're going to have we have messaging and copy being trained this week. Who's got a challenge with their copy? Who's like, or my messaging? Who's got some messaging challenges? Okay, so that's going to be this week as well. We're going to close the gap on the way you speak about your product or service and your message, your overall niche message. So it's going to be a great week. Okay, I promise you. So stick with me an hour a day, at least VIPs. You got me for an hour and 45 minutes a day. Homework. I want to see you actually make offers. So focus on the activity. I want to see you before tomorrow make offers. Okay, I would even close that down and say, I want to see you make offers before the end of today. Just find a way to make offers. Okay, and then I want to see you in the Facebook group. And in the Facebook group, I want you to write, I made an offer. I made an offer. And we're going to be looking at those people. I don't care if you sell or you don't. I made an offer. Somebody who actually effectively figured out how to make an offer is going to win $1,000 by tomorrow morning. All right, you guys. So much love to you. See you tomorrow. Have a great day.